What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology horoscope for the weekend of February 4th and the 5th of 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all so much. I hope everybody's doing well, getting through these wild, crazy times as best we can. That's really all we can do. It's just weird. It's very strange, very alien, very out there energy. We're seeing different things show up. I couldn't believe some of the things that manifested for that Sun-Uranus square. So crazy, and so many condolences to Natalie, Sady. Her dog passed away during that square, and that was the last thing I think anybody saw coming, because he was just so happy and just never would see that coming. It's very interesting. And condolences to David and Pixie and Lauren and Winston. It's so weird, the amount of animals that are leaving this planet right now. It's a very interesting thing, and I wish I knew why. Maybe that's something I'll investigate more. I don't have a astrological interpretation for it, but it's a very interesting observation, and I don't know, I guess I just want to bring that up right now because it's a strange thing. So anyways, back to astrology. Let's take a look at this weekend and the charts. Saturday, we're going to see that sun finish up at 15 degrees, separating from that square over to Uranus. Weird energy, unpredictable things. Uranus at 15 degrees Taurus, it's shaking all of our worlds. It's shaking the physical ground all the way to the money aspects, all the way to our self-worth, all the way to having to break away and make sure that we are holding value in our life, trying to find liberation, having people liberate from us. Like, it's very interesting when we're dealing with people right now. Maybe some of the weirdest people aspects that we've had to experience in quite some time, or some, just out of the blue things that did show up and are showing up right now. We're trying to find this, beautiful magic too with Venus and Pisces, and it's exalted, and we're trying to really feel how to create the relationship to how connected we all are, and to the emotion, and to be empathetic, and understanding and compassionate with people. But we're squaring with that Venus-Mars, and that'll be exact today on Saturday over to Mars in Gemini, which is just it's adding just an extreme layer of tension, because both these planets are the rulers of the North and the South Node, the dispositors. Mars for Scorpio, South Node, and of course Venus for the North Node in Taurus. It's interesting, and they're in these mutable signs, so it's definitely a force of change, and we're trying to express ourselves. We're trying to make necessary moves, and we could be, pretty harsh. There could be a harshness to it. There could be a, trying to express ourselves, and trying to express how big we want to go, or what we want to happen in our lives, or to be emotionally vulnerable. And maybe one party's, very emotional, and the other party's more intellectual here. And it's a very interesting dynamic. It's trying to force, I would say, an unbound understanding of the action and of the relationships, to merge the dualistic natures and come to a better understanding of how to act and to receive, how to give and to receive. But it's definitely going to take some talking, and it's going to take some working out. And, I feel like there has to be, in some way, shape, or form, a little bit with Mars here and the dispositor of the South Node, some kind of compromise. We can't just force ourselves so harshly about what we need, what our way is. We do need to come to a win-win situation. That's what the sun in Aquarius is trying to make happen in our lives, is create win-wins. That's what Saturn's trying to teach us, is to, we're all equal here. We're all human. And yeah, we're all going to have maybe different values with Uranus and Taurus, or want to do different things with our physical nature and our physical life and what we're creating. But gosh, it's hard. There's a lot of tension right now. And we're building up to a full moon in Leo on Sunday, and that moon comes into Leo, and it does become a little bit more self-absorbed, but it's not like a terrible thing. It's going to try Jupiter. And I think that's one of the best aspects that we get is I think that, we do have to have courage to be ourselves, to express ourselves, to be honest emotionally, and to, I guess go through the story. And, it's like, wow, there's a story starting in our lives, and there's, the chapter changed, and now we're having to really come to a self-understanding place with Aries and Leo, an identified place of what we want to keep learning, what we want to grow with, how we want to express what we know, and a lot of the creative aspects that come with that too. So we're looking for a lot of creativity. At the same time, it's like there's just something has to give, and there has to be some kind of a agreement and a compromise made, and there has to be win-wins. Otherwise, it's extreme tension that can shatter, you know, people energy, relationship energy. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. So very intense aspect, and of course with the sun finishing at 15, Uranus at 15 in that square, even though it's just starting to separate, it's making really harsh aspects with the semi-square to all the cardinal points. There's just something's got to give so that something can begin. And that's, often just hard to understand. The 45-degree angle is a little bit of like a blind spot. It's just kind of like a looking over, like, what's going on with my identity? What's going on with the way I feel? What's going on with the people in my life? What's going on with my goals? Where do I want to be? And then having to kind of get to the fixed energy of the value of the situation, the heart, the love, also the passion, just as well as the connection. So, it's a pretty tense energy. The moon will also sextile Mars, so there is backup. I mean, the moon isn't really making any terrible aspects. It is going to square the nodes, but it's not going to oppose Saturn. It's not in the full moon yet, but that moon is pretty much full, and we're definitely feeling that energy. So we have to come to some kind of a release here. Maybe this full moon's about humbling. Maybe we're all having to go through some sort of weird, radical situation that does kind of bring us back to our hearts and humble us and help us see that we can, make changes. We can find the right excitement. We can find the right things that we feel good about. And so can the other person. If we're able to understand, just that everybody is a little bit different, but we're all so similar in that difference, right? It's one thing that we all really do have in common is we're all different, right? One way to look at it. So finding some kind of like give and take, being able to have courage, but not to be just pompous at the same time, to have humility, to create some kind of a win-win, and to, at the same time, uphold a liberation in your life and, do something radical if you feel like you have to, but from a heart-centered place. Preferably not just an ego place, or those places are going to be met with huge amounts of tension when we want this unbound magic and beautiful story to manifest. It can feel like we could feel so separate from that at the same time if we're meeting that much resistance, which there could be that much resistance today as well. As we come to Sunday, it is a full moon in Leo. Well, you know what? I do like that it makes a net 7 with the 16. That's a very spiritual number. So it does have to kind of come back to that spiritual essence. And there is a surrender, but there's also a humbleness, like a service to the universe, to whatever you believe, to God, of course, to, some kind of really connected force that makes you feel connected to the heart space. And I do think we have to remember that we have to have the courage in life. We have to have the connection in life. We have to have strength. But at the same time, that's where Leo can become a little toxic, is when it's just pride. Pride. We have to, at some point let go of pride and get back to we're all equal. and we can all figure this out if we can come together in some way. So we're meeting a lot of, our own wants and needs getting met with resistance from other people. And we really want to find a sweet spot. And, it takes compromise from both sides. So I'm not by any means saying that I feel like this full moon is saying, just be a pushover. No. But we got to find some middle ground here between we can do this together in life. We can, make things work, or we can't. Or there's just too much of a pride, too much of a, my way or the highway kind of aspect. And of course, it is T-square Uranus. And of course, those 15 degrees, which I talked about just a second ago. So much pressure. We're seeing our physical world change. There's no doubt about it. We're going to start to see it change more and more and more and faster and faster and faster, in the world. And in our personal lives especially too. And I know we can we want to be so comfortable. We want to look for comfort. Taurus is the essence of like security. And I know that we want that so much. And to do it, we have to be able to really be flexible and bend and be, a little alien, a little disconnected, a little weird here from maybe just the standard norm of operation when it comes to the physical reality. It's like we really have to start looking at things from this, detached, higher essence, so that we can not be just in our ego and our pride, but we can also not just be getting, being someone's doormat at the same time. So very, very intense full moon, radical, it could feel like anarchy, especially with the Venus-Mars square, which is going to separate now. But that's still right there for this energy. So there's just massive tension with people, massive tension with money, massive tension with our minds, with our environments, with our, the things that we want to find safety and security in. It's like, does safety and security even exist? We can feel like it doesn't, but we still have to have the faith. We still have to have the courage there to believe that it's just getting started and change is necessary in any start, because it's new and that's changing too. New starts and like mutability kind of have a lot in common, because one's changing into new direction and the other's changing to go in a new direction. So, lot of that type of energy. The moon will, before it's full, trine Chiron. It's helping us. I mean, I think we've had to find a lot of identification of our courage and our strength, and we don't want to play the victim. We really don't want to point the finger either, and we got to take accountability, self-responsibility too. Like, that's extremely important. Saturn in Aquarius is also saying that you got to be responsible for yourself and the actions you take to liberate in Aquarius, and to make sure that there's compromise and that we're listening to the other side and the other angle. And of course, Mercury is going to be at 22 degrees, which is where Pluto, Saturn, in the South Node. Actually, the South Node wasn't there. It was Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Ceres, and the Sun all met January 12th, 2020. So that 22 degrees is extremely interesting, and we're just a day and a half away from Mercury coming out of shadow, which it's interesting that Mercury is tied with Venus going 1 degree, 14 minutes a day. So Mercury's starting to pick up the pace again. Our minds are starting to move. Mars isn't retrograde anymore. Mars is starting to move faster too. 15 minutes a day, which not bad. Better than it's been. So things are definitely moving forward. I think maybe we're seeing like a destiny expanded aspect, and it's almost like a divine intervention at the same time. That's this full moon, and I guess it's learning that we just have to be able to do things with other people, but we also have to know our value, know our worth, and know our individual nature. And I guess there's also a level too here with like really trying our best to understand the point of view if we're going through conflict with other people. We got to just try to have compassion as best we can. I think most of us can be compassionate, and like I would say the more we can put ourselves in the shoes of somebody else, even though we'll never know exactly what it's like to be in those shoes, can help us come to an understanding, which that might open up the door to understanding ourselves even more. And I would say too, if we're all a fractal of each other and we're all a reflection of each other and come from the same place, the more that we can at least be able to go into that space and understand another person, even though we'll never fully know. But if we can go into that space without judgment, then we're making huge leaps in consciousness. So I would say that's very important. Mercury's also starting to sextile Neptune. So again, if we can speak with compassion, with an unconditional, presence, but still make sure that we're speaking from a place of, still being serious about what we may want in life or what we don't want, and being honest, and, being able to look into the imagination and understand that it can happen, but it won't happen if we're not open and we're just closed off completely. So this is a very, very wild full moon. I think this full moon gets brought up again with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, May 5th. It's going to be at, I think, 16 degrees, but I think it might be 15, which is kind of crazy. So we're kind of going to come back to this energy in May. And then July 22nd through September 9th, we're going to see Venus retrograde in Leo. So this does feel like quite the full moon that's going to bring out so much it's going to kind of, it could bring everything full frontal. And we have to take the accountability for our own things too, and not just push it, not just project it that we could never do something wrong, because we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect here. And I mean, there's just a potential for a huge amount of drama. Like, I know it's the weekend, and hopefully we can avoid dramatic situations in our life, or at least find the right, like, fun kind of drama. But geez, it's intense. It is a no joke full moon, and it can leave us feeling, I would say, when all's said and done, extremely refreshed. And we'd probably look back on the situations with a lot of thanks, no matter how intense or not intense they may be in our personal lives, and realize that it really all was to get us where we needed to go and to get us there faster than maybe we had planned. But now Mercury's at a place where it's about to come out of shadow and actually understand that plan before it retrogrades at 15 Taurus, which is where Jupiter's going to station retrograde, which is where Uranus basically just stationed direct. It was 1458, so 15 degrees of Taurus, I swear. It is just absolutely changing reality, changing the physicality. But, it's helping us grow a lot too, and find ourselves, and find the security of a really true essence of our souls. So we're all learning a lot right now. It's good to be a student of the universe. It always has a lesson for us. We can use that lesson as we grow and experience. Queen of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, it just doesn't feel very, it can feel not very safe, not very nurturing, not very caring. It can just feel, this weekend's harsh. I don't want to lie to you. I pray that you all have an amazing weekend. I really do. If it's not, and it feels crazy, just try your best to not get taken out of a secure place within yourself. And no matter what, even if we do get humbled, we still need to love ourselves and be able to take care of ourselves and be able to nurture ourselves no matter what may go down. even if great things happen. Love yourself and take care of yourself through that. Nine of Swords in reverse. Well, that's good because I feel like it can almost feel like there's a nightmare, or we could be way too anxious about situations that we don't need to be. Like everything's going to fall into place exactly as it is supposed to. And we got to get out of our mind a little bit because our mind maybe wants to lower our, presence and our self-worth and take us out of a confident place. And we just need to get back to feeling safe. Feel safe no matter what. You're here, you're good, but you have to also not let exterior energy try to shake you up. And it's one of those weekends where 100% we can get shaken up. And the Seven of Pentacles. What an interesting Seven of Pentacles. It's interesting that she's like scratching herself, but she almost has like this, demon like man hand. Very interesting. Very interesting Seven of Pentacles. Like trying to like correlate that to Pentacles is I'm having, like I want to channel the card, but it's almost like we're putting so much of our hard work and effort into places that feel painful. And there's like a black swan, but with white tipped wings. I'll be honest with you. I feel like this weekend's going to be some kind of a black swan event, but it's really actually not. It's really actually God coming through in a really beautiful way to get us putting our energy and our value and our effort and our connection and our emotions and our self-worth and all these beautiful things and the creative aspects in our life into a much more not as painful place. But it's almost like we have to go through pain to get to that beautiful place and to get to what we really want. And again, I hope that it's not that way for anybody. But it won't always be this way. It won't always be this way. I love you all very much. I hope you have a great weekend, truly. And I'm sending you all my love and best. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you on Monday. Much love. Peace.